Hello, and what this is absolutely mental. So we have talked about the concept known as mediocre at best for a while, and it's here. Welcome to the Mediocre at Best podcast. We're joined
But
with Fraser Oliver,
the man himself.
Fucking
nerdy Brit. James the nerdy Brit. The man himself.
Right, shall we do a couple of admin
housekeeping rules, you know.
So, first off, unlike the damned Fraser Oliver podcast, it's a lovely podcast. We might end up talking about the future of that podcast too in this podcast, but this is both of ours. We had a discussion about a different podcast that can't decide on who the host is and who the... We're both the hosts. We're the hosts of our own podcast. There isn't a host, you bastards. No. It's just a conversation.
Yeah.
Speaking of us calling you bastards, I say us, it's me. No restrictions. Obviously, we're not going to start popping off the N-word.
No, there are boundaries, but we're not going to... Because the bottom line is we want it to be just like a conversation. Conversation, we do swear, so we're not going to not do it, because we want it to be natural.
So I hope you enjoy me saying cunt about 5 times.
It's a good word.
Fuck you.
We use it for everything, it's a great word.
So, where the hell do we start on our brand new podcast? I'm buzzing.
I'm genuinely... I don't know where we start. What do we...
Well, it's odd because, right, we have talked about doing a podcast for originally... There was half a thought that the podcast, the original, what ended up being the first episode of the Fraser Oliver podcast, could have ended up just turning into our podcast, and we had no idea how that was gonna transition. But we've talked this over a year. It has been the podcast.
I think since that pilot episode, we said that was fun. We want to do a podcast, and then. I was very much sort of, I want to. You were like, I don't know. I was like, I want to try it. Are you okay if I try it and see where it goes? And that then obviously developed into the Fraser Oliver podcast. But then it was like, whenever you came on, which was often because it's just good content.
Yeah.
We were like, we should do this as a thing. We kept saying it kept getting, and then COVID delayed it more, and it was...
I think for me... Like I have always thought, like in terms of YouTube, like I wanted to vaguely get my own off the ground. I mean, I've always thought a sick idea for me would feel free, fanny about with it. Pretty much, I've always thought a sick idea that I would love to do is have a second channel for YouTube, which doesn't need much editing and can be just literally. Me talking like tier list, like whatever I want, and then like I can save the main channel for more for like the big lots of rankings, big theatre reviews, that cool stuff. And I wouldn't be surprised if in a year or so I do that.
Okay.
Because that's what I want, but I wanted to get my own channel off the ground, and this is one of the reasons why I probably wasn't so keen. But then, especially when we learn, because, like, let's not be unrealistic. If we did not go to the same university, hello, if you didn't know, we go to university, which we'll talk about, because we just moved in. I've got a lot to say about it.
I've got a lot to say.
But let's face it, if we were in different universities, like, for the Fraser Oliver podcast, like, Zoom is fine, especially because a lot of it's based on interviews with content creators that you don't.
I won't be able to get down to be in person.
So if I pop on Zoom, it doesn't feel that unnatural because it's similar to the format. If we did a permanent joint podcast over Zoom, I think nothing would make me want to stab myself more.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean, because there's just no... Because the idea of it was to have it like a conversation that's just recorded. I hate having conversations virtually.
Yes,
I hate
100%.
I hate using the phone.
Yeah.
If I have to phone anyone, I'm like, why do I have to do this? Even like, this sounds horrible, but even like phoning my parents from like home, I'm like, oh, I don't like it.
I find even on like you know, like I video call like my girlfriend.
Yeah.
And literally, like it's just weird.
I can't even explain it. It's just because it's not a natural way for humans to communicate. We are sociable creatures. We're built to like interact with people there.
Zoom is just one of the most cursed.
It's horrible
things, but no one wants to hear about Zoom because for a year and a half now, Zoom has been the only thing that anyone has.
Yeah. Although before we move on from Zoom, it has been a lifesaver in that I've been able to do interviews that I wouldn't have been able to do if it weren't for Zoom. So thank you, thank you, Zoom. But
I think I used Zoom before on one of my before the rebrand. I used Zoom on a collab.
Oh, you did a collab before when you were movie tour.
So back in this might have been still because it was
Nerdy Brit was because
Nerdy Brit wasn't the rebrand. If you didn't know, so I started my channel. It was Movie Talk. Then during the same period, I was like, right, I don't like the name. I'm changing it to the Nerdy Brit. But then still uploaded non-facecam videos on that. And I was talking to someone. She's called Rachel's Reviews.
Okay.
She did have a K. I think she now has 2K. She was lovely. And when Chris Chibnall got announced, this shows how far back this was. When Chris Chibnall got announced as the new showrunner, we looked at his old episodes, like the ones he wrote under other showrunners.
Yeah. Okay.
That was fun.
Okay, that's a good concept.
I think so that was the first time I used Zoom. And fuck off to Zoom.
It's just I hate it. It's the delay as well. When interviewing someone with a delay doesn't work. Because you're trying to ask a question, they'll start answering because they think, right, we cannot do a whole segment on Zoom because that's gonna.
I mean, when you did, like, do, like, lots of... You haven't done many interviews recently, but when you did, was there any that had, like, quite bad technical problems? Was it all of them, like, pretty good?
Dan struggled to get anything to work.
Dan Trelfer
struggled to get things to, like... His webcam wasn't working. I know Wilco had a bit of trouble with his webcam and his mic, and it was all shocking. But then he was in uni accommodation, but not student accommodation, so the Wi-Fi was dodgy anyway. So
right, so I have in this digital world, and after this, I promise you, we'll move on from Zoom.
Okay.
It was one of the video. It might have been Skype. It might have been Office. It might have been Zoom. I can't remember, and I couldn't tell you exactly what drama school this was for.
Okay.
Basically, my webcam on my computer is really weird.
It is.
If you don't know, usually the webcam's on the top, and the built-in one is on the bottom. It's fucking mental.
That is absolutely outrageous. Like, imagine me just shoving my webcam like down. I might do a stream like that, you know.
But that was when I had my old, and we had problems with my webcam a couple of times before I upgraded it. When you plug it in, and halfway through it just stopped, and then you pretty much got an angle of my chest. And literally at one point they were like, trust me, like, we've been having technical problems before, it's fine. Do you want to reschedule this? And I was like, if I reschedule this, like, they say it's not a problem, but there's no way they're accepting me after we've had to reschedule it. No. So I was like, no, it's fine. Honestly, I cried after that.
Did you actually?
After that.
Oh my god, it's just...
That was ropes.
It's just terrible.
I hate Zoom.
I can't deal with it. Should we move on from Zoom?
We're at university.
Yes.
We have just moved.
We say just 2.5 weeks. This is not comfortable. Why have I chosen to sit like this?
So, for context, for our audio listeners, he's literally just he's gone a bit all ducky. he's gone a bit. Oh, let's.
I don't know why I did that.
Are quite high, so you know.
I started doing fucking yoga.
That, as you do.
It's because we're really far down on the screen, and I've been trying to sort it out. And I can't.
Alright. The technical issues are great. Right. So, I actually think I think we moved in just over 3 weeks ago.
What's the date? It's October 3rd? 4th, fuck.
So I moved on the 11th.
We both did, yeah.
Yeah, so
look, that really doesn't matter how long it's been.
3 weeks of university. How the hell have you found it?
Intense. Like, it's been nice. Like, I was worried when I moved in. I was the first person in my flat to move in.
On a Saturday?
Literally. So, you can move in from the Thursday. So, when I got here on Saturday, I thought, there's going to be people there. No one was here. So, I was like, what? So, I was terrified because I was like, I did get first pick of the kitchen cupboards, which is always a good thing.
What you like?
And I picked the shittest ones. I'm really upset with myself. I picked them so shit once. But I got here, I was like, there's no one here. This is... So, I literally just took all my stuff from my car, shoved it in here, and then went to Asda.
Yeah.
Came back, and there were people. So I was like, okay. And it's weird that, like, it feels like I've been here forever.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how it feels for you, but I feel like I've been here for ages.
Something that just pops into my head is that I remember moving in, and I remember, like, going into my room, which feels the same now, but I remember going to my kitchen. I just thought back to how I saw my kitchen, and felt like the difference between now, where I just go in there and, like, you know, how much we've made a mess of it.
Oh, our kitchen's a shambles.
And I remember the first, like, I can't correlate, because I have a memory in my head about how my own kitchen, the one I've been using for 3 weeks, how that looked when I first looked at it, to how it looks now. And it's weird how different those memories are. Bearing in mind, it was probably like a little bit of like the anxiety and like the stress of moving in, but God, we've made it because. So, I want to give a little bit of context to our different university situations. So we're both. So it's very easy to find out. So we both study at Falmouth University. Big up.
Big up.
So.
Cool.
Falmouth University, as quite a lot of universities are, split up into 2 different campuses. There's one in actual Falmouth, which is a bit smaller, and there's one in Penryn, which is a town that's about 10 minutes up by road. Now, we study at Penryn, and that's what's made this... We haven't actually seen each other that much these first 3 weeks.
No.
Because Fraser got the on-site accommodation at Penryn, and I got not just the cheapest student accommodation in Falmouth, the cheapest student accommodation that you can get. I would like to say it wasn't actually my fault that I didn't get Penryn. It was a ballot.
Oh, no, so, it's such a stupid system. It
should be first come first.
You have to choose. First of all, there's something like 12 accommodation options,
and I think there's a max of like 13 different ways you can do it.
Yeah, you have to rank every single accommodation option from your like most preferred to your least preferred, and then they just like chuck it all in a box and then just pick names out of a hat. What the fuck kind of system is that? It's
a bad.
They don't take into consideration anything. Like,
I mean, speaking about the organisation of Falmouth, I couldn't be completely specific. But I found out the day I was moving to Falmouth. I don't want to say it was as small as a week, but it was not 2 weeks.
I think it was a week.
Less than 2. I think it was about about 10 days before I had to move to Falmouth. Bearing in mind, I picked on Saturday. I could have picked the Thursday, and therefore it would have literally been a week. That's like. The amount of
organisation that goes into getting it. I had to move in on the Saturday or Sunday because my parents were dropping me down. They both work at a school. They cannot do anything but the weekend. I was like, if I can't get there for on Saturday because it's booked out, I'm fucked.
Were you not? Because Sunday was an option.
I was like, I guess yes, but like it's still like that should have been something you knew
100%.
Way in advance what day and time you were moving in.
I mean, like the move-in system was such an odd thing in terms of we obviously you'd have because obviously it's pretty much like a rental agreement almost.
Yeah,
you had to like, sign a lot of stuff, and they seemed so strict. It was like you cannot have guests sleeping over the first 2 weeks. You're like, for me, I know it was like you have this 1 hour to move in. Once that hour is done, you can go with your parents if you want for a bit, but your parent, whoever moved you in, must be gone by the end of the hour. You get there.
No one's policing it.
Oh, literally, I could have 20 people could have just slept in our kitchen if they'd like to. I genuinely reckon those are rules that Falmouth University, and obviously I ended up my parents were around a lot longer than the to help me set up than the hour slot they had, but in terms of people staying over, I was well, obviously you can't. Yeah, you can. There's nothing to stop you.
No one really is policing it. I think it's just the rules to scare you off, isn't it? And
I think they'd rather you don't really.
Yeah, but no one's gonna
No one's gonna.
It's weird that like when you said about going into your kitchen and then that memory to now, I have changed this room. The bed, you can see it's that way. It was slap bang in the middle of the room, facing outwards. So there was fuck all room to do anything.
I mean, at Chook, so that's where I'm staying. Should I be that specific? Yeah, fuck it. Who cares? If come, I won't tell you what flat. If you want to come to Chook, then feel free.
I don't even know what flat.
Fair enough. So, literally, the bed is like this in the room. Honestly, you could not have it any other way because you just would not. There is no space. Even if you wanted to turn the bed round 180 degrees for no fucking reason, obviously it could fit there if you literally just magicked it round, but there isn't even the room to turn it. It's, you're getting your money's worth, but when I think over the year, I think you pay about $1,000 more out of your student loan for this, bearing in mind I also then have to factor transport into Falmouth, so the money gap does actually become a lot shorter. I found out the accommodation situation and I was angry. Not in terms of you got it, but in terms of I didn't.
Yes.
Because I was it's not ideal. There are definite benefits of being in a best case scenario, Penryn campus would be at Falmouth. That would be the best case scenario.
Yeah.
Because then you'd be right there in the town, plus all of the good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's... I don't think there's any accommodation that's perfect. And that's the thing where, it's annoying. Because some people are oh, I'm not anywhere near the campus, but I'm 2 minutes away from Spoons, like you are, which is...
Elite.
I've not been to Spoons here yet.
I was having a, games, that's cards, Uno. At one point, everyone was I think it was about 11:30, and literally, imagine, we were just don't want to pop, because it closed at 12, anyone was you want to pop down Spoons for a drink and then come back and do more cards? Literally, that is mental, the fact that I can literally, back home at Western, you could not suggest to go to Spoons at 11:30 at night.
No. Yeah, I don't have been to Spoons, if I'm honest. It's outrageous.
So he
just
hadn't
quickly,
been to Spoons?
if anyone doesn't know what Spoons is, if anyone's American, they don't know what Spoons is. It's a chain of very, very basic pubs.
Yeah.
In the UK, cheap, basic,
nice, does the job.
Microwaved food.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Just so if you don't know what Spoons is, that is what Spoons is. Not the fucking we're not just...
I think for me, university has been a lot about working out whether I have any common sense. So,
okay,
I'm going to give you an example, and I have not told him this story, and I feel a bit embarrassed about it, but on the other hand, I think it's a fucking stupid system.
Okay.
So, did I complain to you about how bad my hob is?
No.
Oh. Yeah.
You did because you saw ours and you were...
Because I, at home, I'm used to a gas one, so you turn it, I have a clicky thing, you can also use a match, and then it comes alight, and you can see, and you can, I quite like a visual flame, because you can adjust the flame. Right. So, I was not used to an electric to begin with, but then also, literally in the kitchen, they're just domes. And there's no flame on it.
Okay.
It's just a big cylinder that heats up. Now, obviously, logically, you would think that if you want a nice medium heat, you'd turn it to the bottom.
Yeah.
If you wanted it to be its hottest, you'd turn it all the way... You'd turn it to 11 o'clock. And it's the easiest way to sit. First of all, down is not really that hot at all. And this really hurts.
Okay.
For some reason, 1 o'clock is the hottest. And it took me 2 weeks to work that out. In the fact of, surely, if you're thinking about turning it, you have to turn it all the way anti-clockwise.
Yeah.
And also, the markings had rubbed off. Yeah, I think...
Oh, yeah, there's no markings there anyway.
Like 10... Yeah. And it took me 2 weeks, and I was genuinely, making myself food for 2 weeks without being able to use the hob properly, really.
At least...
I use, lids a lot to, keep as much heat in there as possible, but shit.
At least yours fucking have a... you can choose how intense yours are. Our hob, it's either on or it's off. You can't decide how big or small the flames are.
Yeah.
It's either on or there's fuck all. It's literally... You can turn the thing, but it will not change the heat intensity. It's so annoying. So it's either your food's gonna burn or it's cold.
Well,
it's upsetting. It's actually upsetting. But we bought a rice cooker, which is exciting.
You have a lot. I do not have any gadgets beyond what they give you as in a microwave, toaster, and kettle.
Well, Amy,
but you have a toasty maker.
We do.
And
rice cooker now. Well, Amy, who doesn't even live in our flat, but she's with someone who does, she bought us that toasty maker. We've all paid her back for it, but she bought it and was like, "Well, you can have it." And I was like, "Well, why would you not put?" I don't know. And then Phil bought us a rice cooker. It's good. It's good rice. It cooks good rice.
Phil seems to be the flat chef.
Phil, he's not.
Really?
I see. I think that Ollie and Chris, they cooked us a full roast dinner on a Sunday. It was good. It was. That's the one good thing actually is we have people who actually can cook. Because I can cook a level of things, but
you're a good cook.
No, but Ollie used to work. He was a sous chef in a restaurant, so Ollie knows what he's doing. It is powerful stuff. Powerful stuff. What I was gonna ask you, I had a question. I was like, I need to ask you about food, and I can't remember what it was, James.
Right, while he thinks about that, I have been in. It's weird because genuinely it stressed me out to use my kitchen for the first 2 weeks. Now, this last week, I've actually enjoyed cooking. If you follow John Rochford, he a couple of times on his 2 channels has talked about his Spanish chicken, and I tried that, and that was lovely. I made another bolognese. Got another bolognese. The first 2 weeks, it was a lot of oven food for money, because if you buy frozen shit, it's cheap, but also. It just got dead, but now I can use the hob. It's actually been quite freeing. Because I do I'm not the world's best cook. I just use quite a bit of seasoning, to be honest.
Yeah, that's the way to go.
But I enjoy it, and I enjoy food. And I'm sorry, I can't enjoy occasionally I can, but fish fingers every other day is
grow up.
A bit dead.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's.
Did you remember what you wanted to talk to me about?
No, it's gone.
You fucked it.
I fucked it. If it'll come back to me, I'll just scream it at a random point in the podcast. I will just yell.
So how have you found your lessons? How have you found AMATA?
What
does AMATA stand for?
Academy of Music and Theatre Arts.
We study acting at Falmouth, if you didn't know.
Yeah, we'll go with that. Academy of Music and Theatre. That sounds right.
Academy of Music and Theatre Arts. If it isn't,
does that spell AMATA? Yeah.
Academy
Music and Theatre Arts. AMATA.
Yeah.
The and is never. Is it actually?
Because and is used, but O isn't, and obviously.
So it's just AMATA. I'm calling it AMATA.
Actually, is what they should call Moana. It's AMATA.
Nice.
No.
It's like an anagram of Tamatoa, but AMATA. Yeah, so
I'm a water.
I am a water.
I am a water.
Fucking Christ.
What fucking tune?
I've been finding it's okay. I want to get into it more. Like, I want to...
Right, I think...
I want to act.
What they definitely seem to be wanting to do is build the foundations.
Yes.
Now, what that has meant is our topics are split up into 3... there's 3 different strands we study. So there is something called movement and voice, something called acting and story, and then there's kind of like, I can't remember what it's called, but it's kind of like acting through the ages.
Yeah.
Kind of stuff. Now, acting through the ages is kind of like a context type module. However much, as practical people, you don't want to do that, you kind of expect that through a uni degree. Yeah. What then ends up happening is movement and voice. It's called the actor's instrument, but it's pretty much split up into 2 lessons of movement a week, 2 lessons of voice a week. That ends up being a lot of like functional training and bits. I got flesher's flu.
Flesher flush.
So what that means is, so acting and story is kind of the only one that is like kind of like you're working with a little bit of something. You're actively, especially because movement and voice is a lot of like technique stuff. It's not a lot of like how do you act. And that's quite tough when you actually think about it. Like only 1/3 of it is like giving me like the tools and the keys of, because the way I learned how to act is, it's through experience. I'll always remember. My audition. I did a play in first year. He'll know this, called The Wonderful World of Dyssocia. And I remember my audition where it wasn't completely like one tone. But I remember going into that audition, I was quite an It was for the main character's boyfriend at like the end, and he's pissed off, and I was just like too shouty, it was like too much too quickly, and it was the lesson I learnt in that moment of like, it's got to come from somewhere, it's got to build, and it's got to be varied, and you learn from those experiences, and yes, it's important with like movement and voice to have the correct technique, but I'm worried I'm not learning enough of those lessons.
Okay. Yeah, I don't mean, yeah.
I do want to work with a little bit of text. I do want to do stuff. I want to learn things.
Yeah, I want to sort of get into the sort of, I don't say I want to act, because that sounds really like, but like I want to do something a bit more.
Oh, thank you, mother.
Something a bit more with like proper. I don't know, but
yeah, I know what you mean.
I want to do something with a bit of something I can look at and physically like dissect and understand what's going on.
Sink your teeth into.
That's the one. That's the fucking one. Right. So, yeah, I think uni. That's right. You're good. We've sort of discussed uni now.
Yes.
Do we go in... Sorry, that cable was really pissing me off. Do we go into our forte, if you will, of nerdy stuff?
Random
because there's things
shit
I've seen that I thought, me and James need to talk about this, but I've saved it for the Mediocre at Best podcast.
That's one of the things that we've been, occasionally, and a lot of times we'll just discuss it anyway, but sometimes, it'll be like about specific episodes of What If, and we'll be like, we could talk about it, but they'll probably come up on some form of podcast at some point.
And this is that some form of podcast. So
this is now. To be fair, probably every other week there probably will be some form of nerd segment.
Oh yeah.
And I'm so sorry if you don't like it. But to be fair,
well, you're not going to be watching our channel. You won't be here if you don't like nerd stuff.
My channel is pretty much, like 99% of it is nerd stuff. Or musical theatre, which some wouldn't consider as nerd stuff.
Yeah. Basically, if you're here, you'll probably won't mind that.
If not,
fuck off. Skip.
It's quite easy
you
to
can
skip through a video.
bit.
But we're not leaving your time codes.
No, because that's your own admin. So, I need to stop saying that fucking word.
Even today, I think you've used that phrase 3 times. He loves... I don't get it. He loves that phrase.
I just say that's a lot of admin. And it doesn't even make sense. So I was like, do you want to go to town? That's a lot of admin. It's not.
No, it's not.
Just fucking get on the bus card. Like, it's not.
It's like if you said it with like written words, it's like, do you want to do your context work?
That's a lot of admin. That is a lot of admin.
You can't say
whatever.
Oh, do you want to bust out a quick one? Oh no, it's
a lot of admin. So have you seen the news around the new Mario movie? Because I feel like we need to talk about this.
Right.
Have you seen the casting for it?
Yes.
I want to die.
I might need to get it up. Right. Right. So before we get it up, just so we can go through the cast one by one, I want to talk about what I remember. Let's start with good.
We haven't spoken about this at all.
No,
so
we haven't spoken this at all.
This is going to be good to see our opinions.
Are you familiar with It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia?
Yes, good. I love fucking... What?
Because...
Top notch.
I think Charlie Day could do something quite good with Luigi.
I'm excited. I am excited for Charlie Day. There are two of the choices I'm really excited for. Oh, maybe three.
Right.
I reckon three.
Right, let's talk about the good first in terms of... I think Charlie Day will do something interesting with Luigi.
Yeah. I'm somewhat excited for Jack Black. I think there's something there. So Jack Black is playing Bowser.
Which I think will either be like on the level. I haven't actually seen the Sonic the Hedgehog film that came out, but I think a good comparison is probably Jim Carrey as Dr. Eggman.
I didn't even...
What could have been amazing or could have been shit, and apparently he's amazing.
He's really good in that.
I think this will be the exact same. Bearing in mind there's slightly less pressure on it because it's animated.
Yeah, I think he'll do that.
I think Anya Taylor-Joy is generic white person.
I don't know who that is. I've never heard of her. So.
She's in a few films.
I can't look at this seriously.
Right, so I've just seen it.
Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong.
Every single animated film
I hate that man.
Has...
I don't... You can attack me. I do not like Seth Rogen. He's not funny.
I like him as Mantis in the Kung Fu Panda ones back in the day. But apart from that...
He's not fucking funny.
So
him as Pumbaa pissed me off more than it should have.
Like Keegan-Michael Key. Can someone just
Why is he playing Toad?
Right, can someone just give that man a fat paycheck and stop telling him... it's... You know, literally, I swear, in the live action Lion King, like you just said, he literally came in to do Keegan-Michael Key to do one of the hyenas. I think.
Is he actually?
I think he is one of the fucking hyenas.
What?
Why does that man keep?
His voice doesn't match Toad. Toad is a high pitched scream. Why is Keegan-Michael Key?
When he did the Prom. That was fantastic.
He was great in Prom, actually.
He did an Apple TV series. I nicked my girlfriend's Apple TV. Lol. He did an Apple TV series called Schmigadoon. It's kind of he's like a normal person. He's him in a couple who walk into a town that's like musical they all like sing and stuff.
Oh, I've heard of this.
And it's actually really good. So when Keegan-Michael Key puts his mind to stuff, it's actually sick. This is more like just random paycheck shit.
I don't know what he's doing.
But let's talk.
Before we get to the main attraction of the shiteness of this, what's annoying is that Charles Martinet is in this film. And Charles Martinet is the original voice actor for Mario, Luigi, Bowser.
Oh yeah, he's just doing alternate.
What's he doing? Because he's going to do all the little voices. But don't because if I was him, I wouldn't want to associate myself with this shit where Chris Pratt is playing Mario. What in all fuck? What a fucking left field shitty choice.
I saw that, and my first thought was, is it April?
I thought it was a parody.
Literally, I genuinely did not like Chris Pratt.
At least it's not live action, because that'd make me want to kill myself. But I don't understand who has decided that is a good idea.
Honestly, I really hope the executives who made this decision are doing this ironically.
It can't be unironic if Jack Black, Keegan-Michael Key, Seth Rogen and Chris Pratt are all in the Mario movie.
Right. What is... Because there's no point asking you the worst, because obviously it'd be Chris Pratt. what do you think are the top 3 in terms of, because obviously, like, we both quite like Keegan Michael Key, but in terms of castings, what is your top 3?
Jack Black as Bowser.
As top?
Oh, has it got to be in order?
It's got to be in order, yeah.
Fuck. Okay. Yeah, you know, I'm gonna go Jack Black as Bowser, Charlie Day as Luigi.
You can't, can you?
Which lung do you want the cancer in? Like, the third one. I don't understand. I can't pick a third one.
I love that. That is one of the best phrase. I love that phrase.
That's my official third choice.
I never say it as a phrase, but it's just such a great.
There's no other phrase I could have said there.
What lung do you want the cancer?
Well, I don't. There is. What are your? There's no way you could pick a third best.
I guess.
Because I like Keegan Michael Key, but not as Toad.
Yeah, and Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong shouldn't be there. I guess if I had to pick one out, I'd go
Seth Rogen.
I'd probably go Anya Taylor-Joy.
Oh, because it's basic white
because it's hard to fuck up the role of look, I'm in a tower. Distress,
yeah.
Bowser's fucking me in the basement. Come help.
Nice. I just can't.
If you were Bowser, you would, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
I know.
Although it's Jack Black.
It's Jack Black.
Wait, hold Peach. James.
No.
James. But it feels like a parody. It cannot be. It can't be real.
It's a fucking nightmare.
And my problem is Nintendo are so arsey. Nintendo is so arsey with their rights to shit. Nintendo don't give shit away.
No.
They are so protective, especially over Mario. And yet they've gone, do a movie. Who you got? Chris Pratt as... Yeah, go for it. What a fook.
Honestly,
I will
go see that.
Oh, I can't wait to see it. I'm excited. I'm so excited to watch it.
We've got to see it together.
We have.
It's just gonna be jokes. It's just gonna be jokes.
But yeah, I thought I'd got to bring that up because
that will
the shithousery of that cast is fucking mental.
If they pull that off,
imagine if it's really good.
I think we need to kind of create some form of forfeit for ourselves if it's actually good.
Oh God. I don't think it will be good.
It won't be good. We don't need to create a forfeit because it won't be good.
We don't, because we shit at a point.
Oh,
I thought I should bring that up because it is.
Thank you, because I wouldn't. I somehow
you forgot.
I've managed to get that fucking.
I've thought about nothing else.
I
just don't understand to it.
You know when you get a shit on the side of the toilet that doesn't flush no matter what?
Yes.
That is what this Mario build is.
It's going to be an absolute fucking disgrace.
Oh, nightmare.
What?
Let's save ourselves from that shit. What other?
Did you see James Gunn's tweet about someone big's coming in Guardians 3?
Well, I think it's the holiday special.
Yeah.
Where there's a big character, and to be fair, I was thinking.
I think I know. Have you got any?
I don't think I know who it. All I know is it's got. They weren't exactly gonna do the holiday special. It was just gonna be nothing.
No.
So it had to have something.
Yeah.
Who do you think it is?
I don't know. I think
I can't remember what the role was. Someone was saying that Mark Hamill as some big
Santa.
Role. Yeah, something like. I think that'll be shit. But
if it is, I will. Unpopular. I don't like Mark Hamill. Really. He's a good actor.
Mark Hamill is fine.
As a person, he's very up himself.
He is a bit.
And I feel like hasn't got the right to he's done one memorable, very big performance as Luke.
Animated Joker is very popular.
Yeah, but because when people are like, oh yeah, but Harrison Ford's, I'm like, yeah, but
yeah,
I don't know. Apparently he's a dick in real life, which is always fun.
I can see that. Don't be a dick.
Don't be a dick.
Don't be a dick.
It's on my laptop, so you have to obey it.
Don't be a penis. The man might not be a genius.
Nice reference. What else? I mean, we could talk about What If you wanted, because that's come to an end recently.
What if
it never happened? That would be great.
What if we talk about What If?
Nice. Spoilers for What If, the most recent
Spoilers
episode. If you
for-
haven't watched it, whoops, I guess.
I genuinely think I have two, and we talked about this, but I have two completely different ways to look at What If.
Okay.
So if you didn't know, it'll be out by now, because the finale will be out, and on the same day I will be releasing my ranking of all the episodes. And because I haven't filmed that yet, I am really conflicted on how I'm going to do that in terms of I could view What If as What If is canon, and therefore some episodes just do not feel like canon, and therefore I do not like them. Or I could look at it as it isn't canon, and some of those episodes that I didn't like What If Zombies? I really did not like it because main MCU characters were dying left, right, and centre, while jokes were being flown around left, right, and centre.
Yeah.
And that did not feel real to what we know about the MCU. But if I didn't, if it was just an animated zombie story that wasn't canon, I could probably have a vaguely alright time with that.
Yeah, I think
I probably will rank them as canon because Marvel have said they're canon, and therefore if they are intended to be looked upon as canon,
that's how they're meant to be enjoyed.
That's how I should rank them.
I just think What If didn't know what it was. I don't think it, because the way they sort of sold the show was, or not sold it, but it made it seem like they were all going to be linked, and they weren't. It was standalone stories that were some. I think we said this, where the standard for it is so low, quality wise, that ones that are are now amazing against these ones that are just shit.
I can think of the Avengers murder mystery and the Killmonger saves Iron Man.
Yeah,
those are two episodes that I think in most, that would be they can be there, but they'd be considered the weaker episodes.
Yeah,
and because those two, while weak, do feel like canon, they end up being some of the best ones.
I agree. Yeah,
I think the best
the cameras
one
on the ropes.
Oh, fuck it. Oh. I think the best one was the Doctor Strange one.
I agree.
Because I think it was a great story that I really enjoyed that felt like canon.
Yes.
And therefore, that's what If should have been. Let's charge the cameras.
Oh, I hope you enjoyed the first half of that podcast. It was good, wasn't it? But if you want to see the other half of the podcast, simply click the card here and go watch it. Also subscribe if you haven't, because if you haven't, sort your shit out. Enjoy the second half.